What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to an episode of Real Junkies. I'm your host, Farron. Here again, my man Vito, coming to you with the review of The Accountant 2. 8 years after the first one, was kind of wondering what was taking so long for us to get a sequel to this. Was wondering for a while if we were ever going to get a sequel to this,
Yeah.
and now it is finally here, 8 years after the fact. John Bernthal and Ben Affleck. Ben Affleck returning as Christian Wolf, your favorite. On the spectrum accountant assassin. This is pretty much the only way you can sum up his character. Um, and in this one, it's kind of I guess you could call it a murder mystery. I guess that's the closest thing you could kind of call this story. Um, the the story is not the strongest part of this movie, but we'll get into that later. Even though I did enjoy it and have fun with it, I think this film benefited a lot from its cast and benefited a lot from the chemistry that cast had together. Because I think that was really what kind of held it together throughout a story that had some questions and some questions to put it mildly and some plot holes to put it bluntly. Um,
Listen,
yeah,
man.
you feel me?
Um,
Yeah, like
I've been waiting on this shit because the first one was so good, and
first one was very good.
first one was great, amazing. Ben Affleck, all
Hmm.
right, did his thing. Uh, like I said, the story was weak. I figured out who she was almost immediately. um,
I didn't figure it out immediately, but
I don't want to
the
say immediately, but like
explanation,
once they start, like
yeah.
I'm like, okay, this is who this is.
Yeah, so to basically like set context, like the film starts off, you see J.K. Simmons' character. He's meeting with someone you don't really have context on who this person is, and he says he's looking for a family. You don't know why yet, but you just know he's looking for these people. And then that's when the person he's meeting with says, "Well, you have a bigger problem. There's people outside, and they're not here for me." So some unknown assailants come in. You see, obviously, they're targeting J.K. Simmons. He goes on the run, able to escape the people that actually made their way into the
Yeah.
bar. We find out J.K. Simmons' character got hands, makes his way out of the bar. An assassin that's been posted up in a van or a car outside pretty much the whole time snipes him, and this is all in the trailer, so this isn't
Yeah.
spoilers. At least this opening scene about J.K. Simmons getting shot is in the trailer, so that's not spoilers. And essentially, he writes. Well, you see him write something on his arm before he gets killed, and then Agent Medina, who is, as you find out later on, that J.K. Simmons is his character is her boss. Agent Medina sees the
Former
writing on his
boss.
arm, former boss. She sees the writing on his arm that says "Find the accountant," and that's kind of what sets in motion the events of the
And
film.
hold on, I thought that shit was funny though. My man's go, was he having money problems? She's like,
Yeah, like is he having money
shit,
problems? Why do
not
you ask
know.
that? It's just random shit he wrote on his arm. Don't really make sense to
But
me. I don't know what
then
you need an accountant for,
later
but
on, she does say that she's like, oh yo, he was hemorrhaging money. Like he would do
mhm.
a PR job here and there, but he ain't really had money like that.
Yeah,
So
yeah. I think I for this, like, there was a lot that hooked you in the story
yeah,
to begin with. Like the way the story was set up was interesting, right? Because you just have, like I said, a murder mystery with J.K. Simmons' character, this family who he's looking into, who we have very minimal information about, and this mystery woman that he met with, who we are learning about. As the film progresses, though, that story becomes more convoluted than interesting, and it doesn't really address a lot of the questions that it raises when
at
the
all.
film starts. And it kind of leaves you wondering more of what was going on, but it like weaves that in with a great chemistry between Ben Affleck and John Bernthal and Agent Medina. Cynthia Day Robinson is the actress name. I'm hoping I didn't butcher that. But the chemistry those three have, I think, is really what carries the movie, and that kind of puts the movie on its back a little bit. So I still had fun with this, but the story itself was
I
a little
will say
lackluster.
it was a fun movie. I'm gonna start off by this. The first
Okay,
one, I enjoyed the first one a lot better, a lot more.
I would agree.
This one was fun. But like you said, it loses you in the story. It's a lot going on. Um, and you know, it's a few things that don't make sense even once the story starts progression. I mean, again, we
Mhm.
knew that John Bernthal was gonna have a bigger role in this one, and even that to me was kind of like iffy. Like, okay, we know she's working with the accountant who he's on the run from the feds with
Mhm.
so much going on with that already. And again, you're consorting with a criminal at this point. Yes, you're using him for tips and clues, all this good shit. But then he calls his brother in. She says, she's like, let me see if I can get somebody from the Fed office here to assist me. I don't want you to do all of this. They'll assist me in doing this day stuff because he's fucking people up, and rightfully
Yeah.
so. That was self defense, in my part, from my point of view. But then he calls his fucking brother, who's a fucking international hitman,
And
um,
a psychopath.
and it's like he's nuts, And I thought he was, I don't know why I thought he was gonna have a little more. I don't know what his code is, but we do see that he's not as his morals are a little more are easily what's the word I'm looking for? How am I looking to say this? It takes him
They're a little looser.
yeah, his morals are a lot looser than
A little looser
Ben
than Ben Affleck's
than
character for
Christians.
sure. Than Christian Wolf.
Um,
Yeah.
but like I said, like the story in itself, like I said, it gets way more fucking convoluted. Even the what they call it, Harbor House or Harbor the kind of orphanage type thing center.
Yeah. The
That
orphanage hackers.
what the fuck is
That
that?
was a cheat code, honestly.
It
That
was
was a
so
that was a cheat code.
so
That was like just to set the scene. There's I want to try to give minimal spoilers, but we spoil anyway. But I want to try to give minimal. But this is kind of a big part of the story
that
that
was a huge
is
part of the
part of
story.
it is part of what kind of took me out of the movie at certain points. Is there's an orphanage of children who have all types of different issues.
No, 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 no. Let's say what
And
it. They all types of different autism. Like they're all on the
yeah, they're
spectrum
all
somehow,
different
some
types of
way.
different autism. Yes,
And well,
and
first
they're just master
let's
hackers.
step back because at first, we know that somebody in that orphanage, he sent money to, and she ends up basically becoming his lady in the chair, his handler.
Yeah.
And she's basically while she's there, she's raising the next generation of people to help him. And it's
Hmm.
it's so weird because he does a lot, he goes through a lot to like protect his secret, but then like also you got like 10 fucking kids that are also doing this. And say what you will, I don't give a fuck if they're on the spectrum or not. Kids fucking talk. All right. I don't care what it is. Kids
Like
talk.
that interesting
That's
decision.
going to get out. My thing, and then I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
well, um, does staff not go over there? do they do staff not know this room exists? Because this is not just some fucking computer room. Like this is high end shit. This looks like a fucking CIA command center.
And they're hacking any and
Everything.
everything.
They're
People's personal computers, people's homes.
yeah. Like
they hack a person's
if you
house.
play Watch Dogs and the scenes where you like hack into people's
Mm,
house and jump from their camera to their TVs and shit, that's the type of shit they was
mm,
doing. Which
yeah.
it was funny. I'm not gonna lie. It was just it seemed very unnecessary and over the top.
Over the
Um,
top's the word.
and I feel like that was the theme of the movie because even like I said, Ben's acting in the first one. I'm like, okay, okay, I see what he's doing here. I see what he's doing here. This one just seemed like he was trying so hard to make his character seem autistic. Like sometimes
They leaned into that a lot more in this than
a
they did in the
lot
first
more.
one.
Like I said, and the first one was kind of subtle a little bit. This one is like they banging on the door with it, and it's just
Hmm.
it seemed out of place. Like he doesn't seem like the same character that he was in the
From the
first one.
first movie. I would agree with that. Yeah, that was like one of the biggest things I noticed is he feels from a tone standpoint he feels different in this than he does from the first film. The first film, it felt took itself a lot more
Yeah,
seriously and
that's what
had
it
a
was.
much
That's
more
exactly
serious
what it
tone to
was.
it. This one feels a little more lighthearted.
Yeah,
This feels like a more of a shove popcorn in your face and turn your brain off action
yeah.
movie, whereas the first one felt like it was trying to be a little more grounded and a little more serious.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of those two tones kind of compete for people who saw the first one and were kind of expecting more of that in this sequel. But this is also kind of what happens when you wait 8 years in between
And
films. You know what I'm
I
saying?
think that's what it is because, like I said, if I would have went just into seeing this movie, um, again, I don't think he needed to be autistic in this one. I think the first one it really made it really made sense. Like I said, it seems like two totally different movies. Two totally different movies.
Yeah.
Uh,
It's
he
it's not
doesn't.
even just that, it's the way they made him.
Well,
Like
he also
in the
doesn't do
first
any
film they lean
accounting here,
into it,
really.
but
Like
there's
he
also
does a
that too.
little accounting, but like the whole premise of the first one was his. Let's say his character in itself. His character is, he's an accountant, but also professionally as his cover, but also, that's what he does to make his millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars. He's an accountant
Yep.
for criminals. And he works for the mob, he works for terrorist organizations, he works for the accusers, he works for all these people. But then what he turn around and does is when he feels like somebody's doing something that interferes with his moral compass, he turns them into he turns them into financial crimes, which again, very crazy that that's the route you're going to take. You
Considering you're the one doing the financial crimes.
I mean, even though like that they're doing human trafficking, and you're like, okay, well, let me call financial crimes and give them the tip. Like it. I feel like there's people
Yeah.
way more qualified because financial
For that
crimes
particular
they
problem.
got to be like, hey, can I get some help? Because again, she is the deputy director of financial crimes. I don't know. I don't know if that's for the IRS. I don't know if that's for the FBI. I don't know who the fuck that's for. They don't really. I forgot. I really wanted to say, oh, Treasury. So you work.
Yep.
Where the fuck are her other agents? Like,
She was a solo dolo throughout this entire investigation for sure.
I get that you want to go look after your friend and shit, but you couldn't take nobody with you. You didn't have to let them in on everything. You could have made them stay at a hotel or something. And what was the plan there? Like, what was the plan? What if he didn't? He never answered her. What were you going to do?
Yeah, what was Plan B on that? That's a great question, honestly. But really, this movie I feel like wasn't really asking the audience to ask questions like
Mm-mm.
that. You know what I'm saying? Like this, I don't think that's what this film was set up for. I don't really think we were supposed to be like, oh, so how does that connect to this, and what was your plan going to be if this didn't work out? That's not really the vibe I got from this movie. That's the kind of questions they wanted the audience asking. They just wanted us to go Christian Wolf and John Bernthal as Braxton and Agent Medina are here together trying to solve a crime, and they're fucking people up while doing it. Primarily, Christian Wolf and Braxton are fucking people up, and Agent Medina is going, "This is not right. We need to do this by the book." That's essentially like
And
rinse and
and
repeat
she for
what
she
happens
one
throughout this
hundred
movie
percent
for
pissed me
real.
off with that when she finally left. She's like, "Oh
Yeah,
well, I'm gonna bitch what? Listen, it would not have went down that easily. She's going to jail for she's going to jail for
and it's
kidnapping.
like you knowingly invited these people into this investigation, having an understanding of who they were, because their first interaction that Christian Wolf has with her, she's like, "I know who you are. Like I know who you actually are." So she's aware of what he
Mm-hmm.
does and who he works for.
And then
And you invited him to this police investigation and expected him to operate by the book is kind of crazy to me.
and I'm about to give a spoiler. So while they're investigating, some people die. Okay,
Mm.
not they didn't kill these people. The first guy died because they thought he was a rat. He told some information he shouldn't have. But also, how the fuck did the people that work for him know this? The second guy, why the fuck would he ever sign a deal for them? They had nothing on him. Absolutely nothing on him. How the fuck did they know he was there? So like you said, like they didn't want us to ask any questions because a fucking white dude from fucking California is running a kidnapping
It's
cartel from in Mexico.
nah. Him being the because at first I'm thinking I don't know why at first I'm thinking oh, okay so he's the dude that's just running the assassins just
That's what
report
I
to him
thought.
and then I'm like oh no like the cartel's reporting to him. I was like how what
The assassins at the
what
beginning were working for him directly, but like you said, like
yeah
it's just the whole thing. Again, I'm say it again because I really don't have much to say about it because, like you said, it's not so over the top that it's ridiculous and you need to talk about every fucking thing. Like again, a
yeah
Fast and the Furious movie would be like, and y'all know how I feel about those. I love them,
yeah
but it's ridiculous enough to where like I said, I enjoyed myself. It was entertaining. It was okay. It was a good. It wasn't a wasted 2.5 hours or however long it was. Um, but like I said, the story was kind of convoluted. The ending, again, the story was convoluted, so the
I have
ending
my
was
problems with the
convoluted.
endings.
On
I
top
have my
of,
problem with the ending.
let's say one of the main things in this movie, they go to find a kid who's in this human trafficking ring. Why is this fucking kid autistic? And not saying that the kid can't be autistic, but the fact is, like, what are the chances that the one person they're looking for just so happens to be autistic as well? And like, he has a feeling about this from seeing a picture.
Yeah.
Nigga,
Oh yeah, he did.
what?
I forgot about that. He looked at the picture and was like,
He's like me. Nigga, what?
he's like me. You told that from a pic? All right, bet.
Like, I'm sitting
No,
in the
I
theater, like, what the fuck? Hold on, before we get back to this movie, dog, I want to say I picked my seats, right? Online before I went to
okay,
the movie.
okay,
I seen
yeah.
two people sitting here
Mm-hmm.
in the seats that I like to sit in. So I'm like, all right, well, I sit over here. Not the last seat, one over. So I'm two
One over,
two
yeah.
from them. Why somebody come sit right next to me? And I'm
And let me
like,
guess, the rest of the row was empty, wasn't it?
no, my row, no, it was people in it.
Oh,
But
okay,
it's
okay.
just the fact, like, when you pick that seat, I mean, I guess it was other seats in the theater that they probably could have sat in. And I guess I probably could have moved over, but I'm already sitting down in my seat, drinking my orange
Yeah,
slushy and shit. Why would you sit next to me, man? I kind of want
I
to
ain't gonna
start
lie.
talking
That's
to
a
this old lady.
I ain't gonna lie, that's low key a pet peeve of mine too. But it's like I understand if it's like if the row is full or if it's like kind of a packed out theater, cool,
Yeah,
whatever. My pet peeve is more of like if the theater is like me and like maybe 3 to 4 other niggas, like and you see I'm like the only person or one or two people in this row. No,
don't
don't
sit
come
in
sit
my
over here,
row.
bro.
Don't even sit in my row. I
Don't
don't care how close. Don't sit in my row at all.
you don't clearly you see I'm by myself. I'm at the movie theater by myself. I came here for
And
peace.
this is the thing,
don't
bro.
don't come sit over
When you
here.
go to the Imagine, bro, you have to pick your seats. It ain't no free seating in this motherfucker. So you knew before you walked in that theater.
You knew exactly that you were impeding on my
You
peace.
knew what
You
the
knew
fuck
you
that
were
looked
fucking
like.
my peace up.
And
Like, come on now. You go, oh, it's this one dude sitting by himself. He probably just wanted to have a peaceful experience. Him, his popcorn, drink. He came to the theater by himself, probably because he don't want to be bothered. Let me go sit right next to
let me
this
sit
motherfucker.
right next
No,
to this
bro.
nigga. That's
No. Leave
I
me
no.
alone.
That nigga right. I'm sitting next to him, and like I said, it was other seats in that motherfucker that I know she could have sat in because I sit in the back or like I like to sit in the middle of the screen. So
I ain't gonna lie,
eye
we're the
level.
same. I'm like dead in the center or
Mm-hmm.
like the back. Dead, either like dead in the center in the middle rows or like towards the back. Those are my sweet spots for sure. If I get to pick, if those rows are open, I'm going for those
There every
first.
time. Unless even if the eye level is open, if I see that row
Hmm.
behind me is full, I won't sit there
Oh yeah,
because it's usually
yeah. It's
kids.
also it's like you said, it's contingent on what's available
Mm-hmm.
too. But no, if a row is full, I definitely those are definitely things I try to avoid. Like if it's like getting too packed, I'm like, yeah, y'all got it. Y'all them little last 2 3 seats available in there. Somebody else can take those. I'm going for the most open row possible. That's actually like one of my least favorite things when I open up that app
Yeah.
and I just see it's like no rows where it's like, damn,
Guess I'm not going to see this movie.
I gotta be like right next to one of you niggas. Like, I don't know why that's a thing for me, but it just is. And it's only if I'm going to the theater by myself.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I'm going with somebody, it's whatever. But if I'm at a theater by myself, I
Yeah,
don't want to sit next to
no,
somebody.
please don't.
I don't know what it is. It's a pet peeve of mine. I don't
So,
want to do that.
so back to the movie. I forgot all about this shit about the hacking, dog. When they hacked the fucking drones, they hacked some drones belonging to Homeland Security and Border Patrol, and they hacked like three drones, and
Bro,
it's
they hack everything.
it was kind of like I said, it was kind of
It was
insane. It
OD.
was very
It was
OD.
OD.
Like I
It
said,
was
like
OD, bro.
if they keep going again, if they keep going at the rate they're going and making it kind of goofy like this, it will be Fast and the Furious level goofy because just nah, bro, that jump
Yeah.
is crazy. That jump is
It
crazy, nigga.
There were moments where they were flirting with that in this movie for
She
sure.
fucking
It's some points.
immediately he gave her location and
Yep.
not even uh, she didn't even have to look. Seconds later, nigga, all the lights were green for him or for her, for Medina to drive. Nigga,
Literally, hey,
what? What?
make all the lights green and put in a fake tip for a robbery
Yeah,
so all the police leave
the
her alone.
the
I'm like,
the
damn,
fake
what this is a cheat
the fake
code.
tip the fake tip for the robbery or call for the robbery. I get that. That's easy,
Mm-hmm.
easy.
Yeah.
But you wasn't already hacked into the power grid, the fucking traffic system. That shit, you not just like, oh, let me. It was, which makes it crazy because, like I said, that shit happened immediately. But then they need to get some pictures from somebody, and they have to go through her computer. They got to find her passwords. So, but you ain't have to do that with the light. Something that should be
The light was just, yeah, on
that shit
command.
should be
Boom.
more secure. Like, come on, like
Nah, come on, bro. Someone's personal home laptop is definitely going to be more
it
secure
was.
than the power grid and traffic system for an entire
Like I
city. Come
said,
on
I
now. The
think
movie told you
if
that.
this
You should have
movie
just
would have
believed
came
them.
out
Why you think it's
first
so hard?
before the first one, which I again,
Yeah.
if that first one was a prequel, I may have not treated it as harshly, but that first one set the tone. Like you said, it was serious. It was set
Yeah.
very seriously. Like you might have. I don't even think I chuckled in that first one. I think it
Yeah, I
was
don't
straight
remember.
action, but this shit, I'm like, like
There were some traumatic scenes too. Like they touched on how like him and Braxton, like Christian and Braxton, like had an abusive relationship with their
mhm.
father, and their father was the one that trained them on how to fight, and trained them in basically trained them to become assassins. Like they learned all of that. So it's like the first film touched on a lot more heavy subject matter, and this one was just kind of like, fuck all that shit. We just gonna
Because
we just gonna turn this shit into a
because
circus a
even
little
when
bit.
they touched on heavy shit on here, it wasn't heavy. Like Braxton's, and you see this in the trailer as well. So Braxton's talking to him like, because this film, like I said, this came out 8 years ago, which I did not realize that. But
Yeah, the original accountant came out in
it
2016. I went back and looked. I'm like, damn, it's that
it
old.
also the film takes place 8 years after that, after the events.
Mm-hmm.
And he says Braxton's like, yo, you never reach out. It's always me reaching out. And the first time you reach out is, you need some help with something. And then he
Yep.
goes, is it me or is it because of your condition? And even then he's like, I'm just me. And I'm like, like I said, the first one set a tone. It set a tone for this movie. Also the character Christian Wolf, it was a tone set there. And this one just, I don't want to say completely flipped it on his head, but it's for sure tried to shake some shit up. It for sure
Yeah.
tried to shake some shit up. They did a name drop in the movie. They said, "What do they look like?" And Braxton looked at him. Fucking Christian said, "Accountants." Like, what the fuck is this, dog? Can we get the fuck out of here, bro?
No, actually, I don't know why you saying that because like leaning into like some of the, I'll say more sillier, goofy aspects of this film and the tone change they did from what we got in the first one. That scene with the speed dating towards the beginning when he like optimized basically that Christian Wolf like optimized the dating
So he would
system
get the
to be
most
like
dates.
like I'm gonna be a perfect match for every girl that comes in here. I'm gonna read your algorithm. I'm gonna look at all the things that all the women who come here say they're looking for, and I'm gonna position my profile to have all those things
Mhm.
in them. So when I finally show up, it's just a line of women. It's keep in mind, it's all types of dudes in here who like clearly get no play.
Literally.
Like, like clearly, like when you see the scene and you just observe the room, I'm like, oh okay, it's the reason these dudes are here.
Think about
They're not
like
successful
everybody
outside of
that
this room.
watch a Fresh and Fit podcast, like niggas that look like that.
Like literally though, like man sphere type of dudes. Like it was definitely a lot of that, and basically like all the women, and I could see how sick that's one thing I paid attention to. As soon as all the women got up and lined up at Christian's desk, the first thing I looked at was the reactions of every other dude in there. Like, who the fuck is this motherfucker? Like, who he think he is? But to their benefit, though,
He's like,
Christian is socially awkward and don't know how to talk to people. So
that
even though these women were like, "Oh, he an accountant, his profile is X, Y, and Z," all it took was for them to have a 5-minute conversation
and
with him to
again,
go, "Oh, he's not
Ben
here."
Affleck is not built as an ugly man. You know, they build him as a pretty attractive guy. You know, I guess if you like guys and white guys in their 50s, I don't fucking know. But but like you said, that fucking autism was kicking his ass. Like
He couldn't hold a
I thought
conversation with any
I
of
thought the
them.
funniest part was when he does it at the end of like each one of his speed dates where he's like, I guess I don't have to tell you this, but he goes into this long ass jargon about something with tax preparing and it's so funny because like again he's so fucking awkward because of his autism and we don't even know what he has, but he probably has
It's
more.
not. Yeah, they don't really clearly
He
define
has
what it
he
is that
got some form of
he's dealing with.
Asperger's. We know that, but he got some other shit going on with him too. You know, so it's just funny that like I said, he tells this joke, or I don't even think he was saying it as a joke, but he's like, oh, I don't need to tell you. Like he's telling him a fact about fucking taxes. And he's like, "Yo, you probably know this already, nigga. What?
It's like, no, the
No,
fuck they don't. Like, no, they don't, bro. What you about to tell them is some deep jargon. Like they're not hip. I can promise you they're not hip. But I don't know. That scene but to me, that scene though, as much as it was kind of a throwaway in relation to the rest of the story, that scene I think is a good summary on what the tone of this movie
you
was.
know what? I think it was needed. And I only say that because I think it was needed to show his progression from the first film. You know,
Yeah, like you're right because in the first movie he was a complete
it's been,
isolationist.
but it
He
also,
didn't want to be bothered by people at
and
all. This film, you're right. That scene
I
does
feel
show his
like he should
character
have
is breaking out of his shell
been
more.
going to some therapy or some shit too, though, because like,
Yeah,
why? Why are you trying to?
yeah,
Before you didn't give a shit, or I guess meeting no
yeah,
girl because he did all that shit
yeah,
for her from that first film. So
yeah.
but it shows some progression. It shows some regression too, because the nigga doesn't have a house anymore. He
Yeah.
he lives exclusively out of his fucking trailer, and he still only has one fork, one spoon, one knife, and
No, of course,
one
yeah. I
plate.
don't. I don't think that was going to change regardless.
So like I said, there is some progression with him, which again they don't
Yeah,
really push. And I guess you can say there is more progression because, and again, that's why I said that they should have had him going through therapy and shit because I think even him reaching out to Braxton showed progression because even
hmm
in the first one, I think he said something like, I've known where you were at. Like I knew where you were at. I've always had like I think
yeah,
he always knew where Braxton was because of his I don't want to say sidekick or handler or what you will. You know, so he's always known where he's, but again, he's socially awkward. I don't even want to say he's socially stunted. You know, so he doesn't reach out to people like that.
yeah. It's like that connection and human
So
interaction is
like
not
even
something
him reaching
Christian
out
Wolf
for
is
help
comfortable with.
was like is a big deal for him. Which again,
Yeah, facts.
if he ain't seen his brother in 8 years, and he said like I've been reaching out to you, you know. And one more thing, I'm done with these motherfuckers because, like I said, like I said, I was gonna rate it low because but it was a fun movie when he
It was fun. It's really just the story just has a lot of
no that
plot holes.
story was.
the story has a lot of plot holes, and I don't want to go into all of them per se because there were quite a few, but there's just a lot of things that when you really stop and think about them, they're like that. Nah, I'm not buying that. One in particular, and this is like the last critique I'm going to say, and I'll start giving some more positives because it does kind of feel like we're piling on this movie a little bit. Um, the one critique, without going too deep into the spoiler aspect of what happened, like there's a character, the character that J.K. Simmons is meeting with at the beginning
Mm-hmm.
of the film. She becomes a very important part of the story.
Very important. The story,
And
if you will.
what you find out about her later on is like straight out of a sci-fi movie. I'm not
No,
gonna
it
lie.
100 dog.
It was a stretch to try to get me to buy
So
that. I'm
much.
like, I was like, huh? Like I guess at this point, since this movie's kind of already been like teetering on the line of being goofy, I could just say fuck it and buy it. But like, nah, bro, I don't know if you're gonna get that one off the way you think you're about to get that one off. At least not with me. That didn't really land very well with me when they kind of revealed what was behind everything and how we got to that point
Yeah.
in the story and why that character was so important. It didn't land for
Cause
me,
then when it
honestly.
happened, then I'm thinking, and then like I was like, okay, this is what this is. Then I'm like, and when they found out who it was, that's
Mhm.
when I'm like, okay, did J.K. Simmons' character know who the fuck it was when he was meeting with her? Like,
that's where all the questions start coming in. I'm like, well, okay, hold
cause
on. That changes how I view the rest of the story now,
because it
and now I have more
it makes
questions.
no sense why he wouldn't tell her who she was, why he wouldn't tell her what was going on. Again, it brings more questions. Again, we know we understand what a plot device is. You know, it's needed to push the story forward. But
Hmm.
again, that wasn't the story that needed to be told. Uh,
Or just find a better explanation.
Way better explanation.
Like, yeah, you could have the like I said, the way they set the story up, I was invested at first. I
Mm-hmm.
was like, oh, okay,
Yeah,
murder mystery. We're hunting this family. We don't know what happened to them. All we know is they're in danger and the kid needs help. Boom, now off with the accountant adventure. And then once the story starts unfolding, I'm like, wait, whoa, hold
what the
on.
fuck are we
This just
doing
not
here?
really making.
What are
Yeah,
we
what are we
doing
doing, bro? This shit not making sense. At least like I'm not following this. Like I'm having fun because Christian Wolf and Braxton and Agent
here?
Medina have a great dynamic, and it's particularly Christian and
Yeah,
Braxton. Their relationship is really what drives this movie forward. Agent Medina is more there just comic relief and to say we're y'all fucking up when you do this by the book. Like her character adds value to the story, yes, but Christian and Braxton are what really carry this
yeah,
film. And outside of that, when the film tried to like focus on the other elements of the story, I was like, honestly, no. Get like just at this point, just skip to the point where
just start killing
they
niggas.
fight the big bad cartel bosses at the
Just
end because
start
I don't
killing
really
niggas.
care about the rest of the shit at this point. Right? Like, yeah, I just want to see them killing people at this
And
point. Like,
even
I'm good on the rest of this shit.
and I'm gonna try and be vague and because again, like I said, I didn't I was gonna rate it kind of low. Again, I still enjoyed the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Um, when they got to the end, it's like, what was his reason for sending Buddy there to kind of cover his tracks in Mexico? Like,
Yeah,
if somebody's coming for me, that little camp in Mexico is not going to hurt me because
yeah,
they're coming for me. And
for
like
you
Buddy was
directly.
so, and again, the whole thing's because some nigga is so fucking paranoid that he did some fuck shit um that causes all of this. Now,
Yeah.
like you said,
And honestly, what he was paranoid about, doing what he was about to do at the end of the movie was probably going to make it
way
worse.
worse, way worse.
That wasn't
What?
going to
Wait,
help,
what?
actually. Like, that was going to make it 10 times worse. The
So
thing you were paranoid about was going to become a bigger problem.
like you said, like it was good to see another one. It was we probably actually didn't need Medina either, but whatever.
She wasn't necessary, but I did enjoy
Yeah.
her
I enjoy
character.
her character. I enjoy her.
So, yeah. But
So
this thing.
so
I ain't mad at that, though.
except I didn't like seeing her in some of these press runs, and I don't know if you've seen her fucking hair in that shit. Her shit, she's wearing like this
In the
1950s,
press
this
interviews, I
1950s
didn't.
bob dog. That shit looked
Bro, I just
terrible.
saw a picture of it right now. What in the fuck? is that?
That shit is terrible, dog. So I will say, like I said, I did enjoy the movie.
What?
I didn't enjoy the tone switch. I wish it would have stayed more serious. But
Yeah.
like I said, it was a fun movie. There was a lot more action in this one, I think, than the first one. Um, there
Yeah.
we didn't have many flashbacks like we did in the first one.
The first one had
We
a
had
lot
a
of
lot of flashbacks.
flashbacks.
This one, I
Yeah.
think, maybe only had one or two, if that,
Hmm.
and they were real quick. They were real quick.
Yeah. Very brief.
It really they got it popping quickly in this shit too. So like you had that opening scene where he's speed dating, or did the speed dating happen first, or was Ray's meeting
The
first?
opening scene was J.K.
Okay,
Simmons'
so
character in the bar.
that
Yeah.
happened, and then
Because that's what kicks the whole story off.
because I'm thinking about some shit which we gonna we'll talk about offline because I'm thinking about this shit now and I'm like this don't make sense again. Anyway,
Yeah.
they got it. Even the J.K. Simmons thing happened. He got it popping, and then the speed dating, and then they found out J.K. Simmons died, and he got it popping again. And
Yeah.
like I said, I took that as that was self defense to me. So outside of that, seeing you see more of Braxton, obviously, because he's a big part of the story now. But again, I like there's some progression to Christian Wolf as a character. We
Hmm.
don't know what type of progression Braxton has because we didn't see him in the last one. We do know that.
Not for
Yeah,
real.
not
He
for
was a
real.
much more minor character in the first movie than he
We
was in
do
this.
know that what he does for money is kill niggas. like, and
Very casual
very
about it
he's
too. I ain't gonna
very
lie. The
casual
way his
about
character is
killing
introduced in
niggas.
this movie was actually kind of funny. Like of him, you just see him having a casual conversation with somebody, and you kind of see she's uneasy, but they don't really give you the sense that she's completely fearful until later in the conversation. And then she's like, just please don't hurt me, please don't hurt me. And I'm like, damn, what he do? Like he seemed like he was talking to you calm, and then they pan the camera. I'm like, oh, oh shit,
So
okay.
we
And
we
now I
we talk
understand.
about Christian's autism, but
Yeah.
and his Asperger's, but this motherfucker got something wrong with him too.
No, Braxton is the most
Yeah,
unhinged character
because
in this movie for
because
sure.
again, like you said, even the first one when we're introduced to him for the first time and we don't know why, you know, that introduction
Yeah,
was even like the fuck is going on here? Like he's very casual about killing niggas. Like,
yeah. It's like it's nothing to him.
but
Like just straight up, it's nothing
we
to him.
do know that he's usually killing bad people. Usually, or they haven't said that he kills people that aren't bad, but
Yeah,
the nigga's off, so something might set the nigga off, and he might,
yeah,
but or
yeah.
really because of the niggas that he worked for. The nigga that
That's what it is. It's
that
like you work for bad
when
people,
I
so I
heard
can't
that
believe
nigga's
everything you're
voice,
doing on the up
bro,
and up.
I knew exactly who that actor was. That,
I'm
like,
scared.
he started talking. I'm like, that's my nigga.
Yeah.
That's my
I'm like,
nigga.
oh shit. Hey, I know that
He
one.
plays every Russian gangster.
Every single one, bro. As soon as he first popped up on screen, I'm like, come on, bro. You got to stop getting typecast like
Nigga,
this,
when
bro.
I tell you, I said,
You a Russian mobster and everything I see you in? Like, come
nigga,
on, bro.
I
You
heard
gotta.
his voice and I said, that's him. The nigga's voice is
That's
so
him.
distinct, man.
It's because he's playing the
The
same role
same
in
nigga.
everything, like literally the same. I'm gonna pull it because we got to give my man some credit. Andrew Howard, we got to give my
His
man
name
some
is
credit.
Andrew Howard.
Andrew
Where
Howard.
is he from, bro? Please,
Andrew
please
Howard.
tell me.
But I promise you, even if y'all don't know his name, y'all know who we're talking about. And you've seen him as a Russian mobster or really just a mobster, period, in some film at some point in your life. Because that's all he plays. He's from the UK.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. He's from the UK. But he's a Russian mobster or just general mobster in everything he's in. He's generally he's typecast as a piece of shit.
Yeah.
He's been typecast as a piece of shit. He's not playing any other characters other than that. I don't know what kind of deal him and his agent got. We're the only roles he can get. But I promise you, like you said, heard his voice. I'm like, hold on, that ain't
And
who I think
you
it
know what?
is.
I
Hold
thought it
on.
was funny that when she called him, And like he like, no, that ain't me. You go about your business. And like again, they talk about Ben Affleck's
Yeah,
character like he's the Baba Yaga in this universe.
yeah,
Like he's John
yeah,
Wick, nigga.
yeah.
like,
Facts.
like
They be
niggas
like the accountant. Niggas be like, ooh, who? Hold on.
they said some shit like they like he kills the killers. I what they call they
Yeah,
called him like the Reaper or something, the Reaper of Death or something really crazy like for niggas that are hitmen to be afraid of.
afraid of him. Yeah, no, and like that is your point. All the hitmen in this movie knew who he was. They knew exactly who he was. So definitely gained a reputation. I will say I agree. I really liked this film, or I had fun with this
Yeah.
film, I should say. I had fun with this movie. If I really wanted to put my film critic hat on
Oh
and
yeah,
poke holes at it, I can. But just as a casual film
just
fan,
watching.
I enjoyed it. Just watching it, turning my brain off. I had a good time with this. I really liked the relationship between Braxton and Christian Wolf. I think they did a lot to develop both of those two characters and their relationship in this film of two brothers who are estranged. They've had no contact with each other for 8 years, but you still feel deep down they really do love each other, and they have this deep care for each other. On him and I might not be on the up and up, but I dare want somebody else to mess with him because that's still my brother. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of the dynamic they
What they
have.
saying, Mufasa? Don't you mess with my brother? You mess with my
Hey, bro.
brother.
Hey, bro. I need to see that movie just for that
You
scene.
ain't seen
I
this
ain't gonna
shit?
lie. No, I haven't, but I've seen
I
that
thought we
clip
talked
about a
about.
million times.
Oh man,
I've seen that clip a million
I
times. I need to watch
what
that
I
movie
will
just for
say
that. I ain't gonna
is,
hold you.
I have a lot less respect for Mufasa after watching it. I
Less
have
interesting.
I
Okay.
have a smidge more of respect for Scar.
You're not the only one that said that, honestly.
He was wrong. He wasn't wrong, but Mufasa was on some light skin shit.
Yep.
He was on
Okay.
some.
Say no
He
more.
he
Yeah.
he was on some Drake shit for real, for real.
And I mean, I'm here for all the Aubrey Graham slander, so I'm good. That right there gives me a clear idea of I think why
What type
people
of
are
nigga
saying that. Because
Mufasa is?
yeah, now that kind of tells what type of nigga
That nigga
Mufasa
hasn't had
is. You know what I'm
kids to stop
saying?
being a bitch, nigga.
You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be sensitive and play a victim, but you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna also be a menace to society a little bit. You know what I'm saying? But if you retaliate, then now, you know what I'm saying, you the
But
piece of
also,
shit.
you gonna see Scar was also a like Mufasa.
I mean, we know Scar's a piece of
No.
shit.
Like
That's not
Mufasa
any
did some
that's
whole
not
shit.
yeah.
Scar is a bitch.
Ah,
He's
okay. Okay. I need to watch this movie, I ain't gonna lie.
but
I really do
again,
need to watch
you
this movie.
know, it ain't no reason for what was done to him to be done with him still. Even though he is a bitch. It's fucked up.
He still got
He got
Diabo?
did
Okay.
bad.
I'm gonna add
I think he
Mufasa to
got
the
did
watch
bad.
list and watch this terrible musical number that y'all keep
That
reposting.
shit's so terrible, bro.
So I can be in the loop. Oh, I think that is part of the reason why I didn't go see it in theaters. I was like, somebody sent me that. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna catch this shit when it's on
You know what's
streaming. Cause
crazy?
nah.
Like I hate musicals, but when you think
Same.
about it, we grew up on musicals. Well, I grew up on musicals.
Yeah.
All these fucking Disney movies, all the
Yeah.
motherfuckers was musicals. Every single
Nah,
animated
facts.
was musicals.
If you grew up as a kid watching animated Disney movies, you grew up watching musicals. But I don't know why, for me, animated Disney films having musical numbers in the middle of their story doesn't bother me
Then
because
lie,
it's animated and I'm already suspending my sense of belief of what I'm
because it's a
watching.
lion talking
That's
and dancing and singing
yeah,
and
I'm a
shit.
talking lion. It's mermaids. It's a nigga who turns into a beast at night and needs a princess to kiss him for he can turn back into a human.
No.
Like it's
Did
shit.
you even watch the fucking movie, man?
It's been so many years. I'm gonna be real. It's been
You
so
know
many
what?
years. I
How
watched
about you?
Beauty and the
If you
Beast.
since you're gonna watch Mufasa, watch the
Yeah,
Beauty and the Beast remake or the live action Beauty and the Beast.
I'll go back and watch the original. I'll go back and watch the
Beauty and the
original. I
Beast is
don't.
probably my one outside of Lion King is my favorite Disney
Lion
movie.
King's my favorite. Beauty and the Beast. I actually used to have Beauty and the Beast on VHS, like as a
Beauty and the
kid.
Beast is my
So
shit.
yeah, that was one that I would rank like in terms of the ones that bring nostalgia when you mention them. Beauty and the Beast is always one of them ones. But I ain't gonna lie. Getting back to the accountant.
Hey, you know what's crazy, dog?
What?
I thought we was gonna make it out of here without a tangent. And
We went on a Disney tangent in a movie about an accountant that kills
this
niggas.
what's crazy is the first tangent was actually relevant. This one though, like this just went
Was
all.
off the rails.
I was really
Off the
trying to get out of here
rails.
without one, but hey, fuck
It,
it.
it's always you, gang. Every time, every time. This ain't new. At this point, it's our identity. I ain't gonna lie. Like, yeah, I don't know
Oh
what else to
shit.
say. But I did really like their dynamic, Braxton and Christian. I thought the film did a very good job of developing them too and showing the bond that they had. I did really like Agent Medina in this. Like you said, she served her purpose, and I thought was very effective. I thought the action scenes were very well done.
Mhm.
I thought the ending action scene was really like the weakest to
It
me in
was,
the whole
which is
movie. The the
unfortunate.
en- the, the action scene at the movie was really the weakest. Everything leading up to that I was invested in. And I really liked that they I like the fact that in this film you didn't see Ben Affleck do any straight up accounting, no, but they did showcase how that he is a skilled accountant,
Yeah,
even without showing him doing any
like on
accounting. There's a
on
scene
the fly.
where he does somebody's taxes in their face. Like he literally audits somebody in their face, no paperwork in front of
Like
him.
he was able to tell,
Like,
like, oh, this you're well, you're washing money, you're laundering money,
yeah,
like
you're laundering money through here.
just
He audits somebody to their face. Like there's so it's things like that I feel like supplement for the fact that like you don't really see him do any actual accounting
But
work
you
in
you
this
know
movie.
what's fun? Well, he one more scene he did it in was when they were talking about who they're looking for. But you know what's
Hmm.
funny? The only reason he was able to audit the nigga because the nigga got cocky
Yeah.
and nigga
He thought he was foolproof and he wasn't
and
foolproof.
you think you covered, but also nigga, you think both of them are federal agents, and you thought the smart thing to do was to assault them. That's why, like, I was kind of pissed. Like, as I'm watching this,
Yeah.
I'm pissed that she's upset that he beat their ass. He Christian Wolf was attacked. He defended
Yeah.
himself. He didn't kill not
Yeah.
one person in there.
Yeah.
And,
He did what he had to do to get out of that
and niggas was
situation.
pulling guns, and she was just standing there. You just
Yeah,
stood there.
she.
You brought
It was
this
kind
nigga
of one of
here.
them like, yeah. My the whole reason why I was only irritated with her for that, because like you said, you brought him here.
You knew what
The
the,
only reason he's on this investigation with you is because you chose to involve
you
him,
know what this nigga do.
and you know who he is. You established that in your first
She said,
conversation with him that you're
I,
aware of who
I
he
was in
is.
Chicago 8 years ago. Bitch, you know what this nigga does. He kills niggas that wrongs him.
Like I just don't understand why she was like so baffled. Like, oh my god, you're doing this off the book. Like,
And,
what did you think he was gonna
and
do?
before that, even in the first one, when, uh, what is it? They call him Ron King. When he brought her in, he told her,
Hmm.
like, hey, these are images of this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy. None of them
Yeah.
had his picture on it. He worked with these people, he worked with these people, he worked with these people, he worked with these people. When things went wrong in this deal, he killed these people, or we believe he killed
Yeah.
these people. Things went
Hmm.
wrong here. They killed these people. I was in this situation a few years ago, 10 years ago. He killed these people. He let me
Like,
live because I wasn't involved. So, like I said, is he a criminal? Yes. Does he have some damn I don't know why I'm messing up on morals and the word I'm trying to use when I'm using it right now. He,
morals and principles,
he got
character.
he got a
I'm trying to just throw
I know.
anything out there.
I appreciate you. He got a set of morals. I ain't set of morals. That's just anyway. We know he's a criminal because of the shit that he does.
Hmm.
But he does have morals. So he's not
Yeah.
just out here willy nilly killing niggas. So again, you know how this nigga reacts when he's wrong. And this nigga walked up to him and because he said you washing money, bitch. Call for backup or something.
Yeah. You
Like,
should attacking him wasn't the
yeah,
plan.
and and,
That shouldn't have been plan
and
A.
you take up for them. Come on now.
No. What are you giving this one rating wise? What you
So like
thinking?
I said before me and you talk, I was gonna give it a 6.
Hmm.
I'm like I said, I did enjoy myself in the movie. Still, it was a fun
Hmm.
movie. I and I will say I didn't want to get up. Like I had to use the bathroom at one point. I did not. I didn't want to miss anything because I wanted to
Yeah, I
see
was at
what was
yeah.
coming up. So I would give it a 7. I'm gonna give it a 7.
I would agree. I'm gonna give it a 7 as well. One thing that can save a film for me, if your story is shoddy, give me characters that I can be invested in. That's the one thing that for me can save a movie where the story is a little
And
in.
good
If
acting.
you can get me invested in the characters and get me to having a good time, I can
Yeah,
forgive a few plot holes here and there. So that's essentially kind of how I felt watching this one, right? Like as long I was invested, I was having a good time. Was I going kind of I was I giving it a side eye here and there on some like I don't know about that
yeah,
one, boss. In terms of how they decide to push the story forward, yes, but the heartfelt moments between Christian and Braxton and their dynamic with Agent Medina and some of the wild things that happened to them throughout the course of their adventure here, that was enough to keep me invested in having a good time with
yeah.
this movie. So I agree with you. I'd give this one a 7 as well.
Also,
Um,
what kept me interested was I wanted to see them kill niggas.
and the
Like
action was
I
fire
really
too,
wanted to see them
so
go off.
that
Like
also
they
helps.
didn't go off like I thought they was, but you know they took care of business.
Yeah, they some people got unalived. Some people got unalived. A lot of people
A
got
lot of
unalived.
people.
Uh, a lot of people. But that was our review of The Accountant too, y'all. Definitely appreciate all the support. Give us your thoughts. What did you think about this film? Did you like the first one better? Were you more of a fan of this one? Which tone are you going for more? I still think the first one was better than this, but
100%.
I feel like there's a lot of fun to be had in the second one to where some people probably, this is probably more their speed,
Yeah,
for some people
especially if you
versus
didn't
how
see the
heavy handed
first
the
one.
first one was. Especially, I feel like people who didn't see the first one are probably going to enjoy this a
But
lot
also
more.
like you said, like it's two completely different tones. Because some people, I know some people
Yeah.
that watched the first and it's like it was okay, but like you said,
Yeah.
this one probably would be more their speed because the first one was more of a I don't even want to say it was a thriller, but it was a kind of a action. It was an action thriller. So yeah, the first one was an
Yeah,
action
I think
thriller, where
thrillers are appropriate
this
word
was an
for it.
action thriller with a dash of comedy, and I think honestly that some people need that.
Yeah. To make it a little more lighthearted,
Yeah,
because I agree. The first one was probably a little more heavy handed for like someone who's just trying to go and enjoy a mindless action movie. So I would agree. It really just depends on your style of action movie and what you prefer, honestly. So like I said, let us know you guys' thoughts. Which accountant film do you prefer? Always continue to like, comment, subscribe. We appreciate all the support. Until next time, it's the Real Junkies. Peace.